This video is regarding tall buildings and frame structures of Module 5 in Construction Technology. Moving on to the first part, that is tall buildings. Tall buildings are those buildings having height greater than 45 meters but less than 250 meters. And normally they are intended for use as residential, office and other commercial buildings. Now, the reasons contributing to the development of tall buildings are rapid growth of population in urban areas, limited land area, and also the expensive land price. Optimum utilization of energy and natural resources are other factors that support tall buildings. The major loads acting on tall buildings are the first one being gravity loads. Gravity loads includes dead load and live load, and dead load is due to the weight of every element within the structure, while live load is due to the load acting on the structure when in service. Second is the wind load, and the third one is the earthquake load. These are some of the pictures of tall buildings in the world. Next is a framed building. Framed buildings are buildings or structures formed by the framed elements, usually in the form of columns and beams, as well as further strengthened as necessary by the introduction of rigid floor membranes and external walls. The common forms of framed building structure is subdivided into the following types. The first being in situ reinforced concrete frame, second being prefabricated frame, and third is structural steel frame, which includes universal or tubular sections, hollow or composite elements. Frames are formed with columns which are connected by means of beams at floor and roof levels. The load from roof and floors is transferred to the foundation through columns and footings. Within these frames, the walls are constructed, and these walls serve as partitions only, that is, they are not taking any loads. They may be removed and alterations may be made at any other time without putting the building in danger. Usually, framed buildings or structures are suitable for multi-storied buildings. Now, moving on to the comparison between load-bearing and non-load-bearing structure. First, let us see the details regarding load-bearing structure. Moving on to the first point, we have the load from roof and floors are transferred to columns by walls, and walls need foundations throughout their run. Plans for different floors of buildings remains the same in the case of a load-bearing structure, as upper story walls should be built over the lower story walls. And too many openings for doors, windows and ventilators are not permissible in this case. The walls should not be dismantled for alterations. And usually load-bearing structure is suited for 1 or 2 story buildings. Now moving on to the frame structures or the non-load bearing structure. The load from roof and walls are transferred by the columns and footings. Footings are required for columns only. Walls may be built on beams or floors. The planning of different stories may be different. That is, we can make necessary alterations wherever required. And there is no such restriction. The entire space between two columns may be kept open as well. Walls may be dismantled for alterations in this case, and usually this is suitable for multi-storied buildings. Moving on to the advantages of frame structures, it allows faster construction. It is possible to change the position of panel wall at any time. It can resist vibrations effectively and hence ideal for buildings in seismic zone. These structures requires only thin panel, so it increases the floor area and it is economical. Moving on to the different types of framed buildings based on the materials used. The first being timber framed buildings, second is steel framed buildings, and third is concrete framed buildings. This is the figure showing timber framing. Moving on to the first one, that is timber framed buildings. It is usually adopted in European countries and not common in India. The walls are built with slender studs and the joists and rafters are supported on walls. Here, the structural frame members are fabricated from wood. Moving on to the advantages of timber frame structures. First of all, it is light and it allows quick construction. These structures are stronger and more durable. A variety of ranges of finishes can be provided. There are no load-bearing walls in timber frame structures, allowing changes to the floor plan with no structural consequences. And timber is the only truly renewable construction material. Moving on to the disadvantage of timber frame structures. They are not strong enough to resist the wind and fire events, and it's not fireproof. Thank you.